How's everybody doing out there? Thanks for having me, Kellen.
I'll start off here with the questions. How did you get your start in pro wrestling? What gave you the inspiration that you wanted to be a pro wrestler?
I always grew up watching on TV, watching guys like Bret the Hitman Hart,
Right.
Owen Hart, Davey Boy, Dynamite Kid, and finally got my start in Monster Pro. They had a little mini camp. So got my start in there and had my first match on April 11th, 2003.
Right on. Were you wrestling under the guise of heavy metal at the time, or has the heavy metal character developed since that time?
The heavy metal character developed in 2005, April of 2005, courtesy of a guitar shot from Sexy Samantha. I first started out as Travis T.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right on. Were you doing like a bodyguard type gimmick, like a Diesel-esque Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels type deal at the time?
I was.
Before that time, or even now, you had to have watched pro wrestling on TV. What are some of the favorite promotions that you watched during your childhood?
The WCW, the WWE, those two were the big ones growing up, As I got a grasp on wrestling, it was also the NWA, AWA.
Oh, yeah?
Places like that.
All the old school stuff from the 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah. Was there a favorite match out of all those promotions that you enjoyed watching as a kid?
One match that always stood out was Bret the Hitman Hart and Davey Boy Smith at SummerSlam in '92, I believe.
Oh, yeah, the Wembley Stadium.
The Intercontinental.
I don't know what they had for an attendance that night.
It was quite large.
It was. It was an insanely large amount.
It was.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite promotions that you've worked for in the past? Well, you can even start out with a list of the promotions you have worked for so far in your career, and which one is your favorite?
Besides Monster Pro, I've worked for ECCW, NWA, Top Rank Wrestling out in BC, which is tremendous to work in. Rough House Wrestling out in Winnipeg out there. I've also had a chance to work in, from BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, all the way over to Manitoba, a chance to work on the Tony Condello Northern Tour and places like that. Everything in between was just kind of one-shot deals. New Wrestling Nation was another one, which was awesome once again. I have to say, for experience-wise, New Wrestling Nation was probably one of the favorites.
Oh, yeah? Who were some of the guys that you met out there?
The Trailer Park Boys.
Really?
The Trailer Park Boys were out there, and Rikishi, former WWE superstar.
Oh, Rikishi, the master of the stink face.
You bet.
Indeed.
And he did bust it out that night.
Not on you, right?
No, not on me. Thank God.
Oh, the poor sucker that got the stink face. Most embarrassing move in wrestling history, I'd have to say, if you're on the receiving end of it.
Probably the stink face.
A 400-pounder's butt right in your face, for those who have not seen.
It's not a good sight.
Yeah, for sure. MPW Junior Heavyweight Champion, Heavy Metal. Heavy Metal, this is how many time you've held this belt? First time?
This
second
is the first time.
First time.
First time.
Right on. And you beat Knight in a ladder match at Infinity, correct?
I did.
Your feelings on that match, how did you feel, you competed and so forth?
Oh, man. It was a painful match, that's for damn sure. Going into it, I was pretty nervous. Heavy Metal's not so good with heights. So
a little ladder shy there?
Yeah, just a little bit. But once that match started going, it was pretty brutal. It was painful.
Yes, it was not a match for the weak at heart, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
But yeah, it was one of the better ladder matches I've seen.
Thank you.
For sure. In the Edmonton Indie area, for sure, and maybe in all of Canadian Indies, it was actually quite awesome.
Thank you.
Getting back to the formatted questions, but as you know, in wrestling, formats mean nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Yeah, and
out the window.
Out the window, exactly. As soon as the commentator table is broken, that's it.
That's it.
So you were mentioning a training camp or seminar that you went to start your wrestling career.
You bet.
Who were your trainers?
Massive Damage was key. He helped me a lot. Still now, he helps everybody a lot. But other guys that came in were the likes of Chi Chi Cruz, Steve Rivers, Andy Anderson. Had a chance to train with Dan Severn as well. And
Really?
yeah, Evil Eddie Watts.
Ooh, that's a name from the past. Dan the Beast Severn.
Dan
That's
the Beast
that's a
Severn.
name from the Attitude era of wrestling for sure.
That's
When the majority of our listeners probably either started wrestling or started following it, was during that era of the sport. Here on this beautiful Wednesday night, it is absolutely gorgeous out there.
It is. It's great out there.
It's awesome out there for sure.
Let the long hair down.
Yeah, for sure. Just rock out. bust open a cold one and just rock out, man.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So just doing the math here, how long have you wrestled for MPW since your start? It was what, 2003, and now it's 07.
07. So it's nearly 4 years.
Nearly 4 years.
Nearly 4 years.
Yes. Is there what are your goals now, I guess, it would be, now that you're champion? I mean, you're at the top of the mountain now in the junior heavyweight division. What's next? A run for the tag straps maybe, or just improving your position in that division, or is possibly a heavyweight title run in the future?
Right now I'm focusing on keeping that belt. I want to keep it for as long as possible, and you never know, you might be seeing heavy metal running for the heavyweight or tag team championships coming up pretty soon.
Really?
Gotta keep an eye out for that.
Is there any wrestler out there that you would love to work with? And I'm going to expand this to a 3-part question. Name me a Canadian indie wrestler you would like to work with, or wrestle in a match or whatever. An American indie wrestler, and then somebody from either WWE or TNA.
As far as Canadian indies go, one guy that I'd just love to get in the ring with would have to be from out east, Wildman Gary Williams.
Oh yeah.
Another guy who also helped train me a little bit every now and then, but he's a great guy and great in the ring, and that'd be awesome to get in the ring with him. American indies, that's a tough one.
Could be any American indie, Ring of Honor, Combat Zone Wrestling, whatever.
In ROH, one of the guys I watched quite a bit, that I watched of ROH, because I don't watch a lot of it, but Nigel McGuinness would definitely rank up there with the guy.
He is rapidly becoming a huge staple on the American indie scene, if he hasn't already, and he's quite the talent for sure.
I agree.
For sure. And one of the big ones, WWE, TNA.
Currently or in the past?
Don't matter.
One guy I've always wanted to wrestle with, have a match with, is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Oh wow, that would be something for sure.
Definitely.
For sure. So, all right. You know what? You probably have your buddies listening and stuff like that. You got any good road stories from the the MPW talents of the past, present that you've worked with? Anything you can tell on air?
On air.
Yeah.
Actually, I mentioned NWN earlier, and when we went out there, we had a chance to meet the Trailer Park Boys and Rikishi. And one of the wicked things part of that road trip was the Trailer Park Boys. They were really down to earth. They invited us in the locker room, had a few drinks, went out to the bars, with the Trailer Park Boys. I don't think very many people can say that, but that's definitely a road story to remember right there.
Oh, I imagine for sure.
They sure do know how to make an exit.
Do they? What's there much damage left after? Or
not too much.
Not too much?
Not too much. Emergency exits, the alarms went off in the bar.
There was an old story, and I just finished watching the RF Video Shoot interview with Marty Jannetty, and he had stated before that back when he was teaming with Shawn Michaels back in the 80s as the Rockers, they were known to party, and they were just absolutely, they would tear down bars.
Wreak havoc on the place.
Yeah, for sure. Them and the short-lived Jimmy Jack Funk.
Oh.
If you ever watched the old best of WWF, the rental tapes from like the mid-90s of like the stuff from the mid-80s or something, he was all over those.
Yeah.
They had like something like 35 volumes of best of WWF until they started doing the super tapes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're indie wrestlers. We can't afford to pay for those damages.
Exactly, no kidding. So, all right. Just get your thoughts on some current happenings in Monster Pro Wrestling at the moment. First of all, it's not on my format, but I'll ask anyway. What was your reaction to getting the television deal and then subsequently the television programs last year during the fall and winter of 06 that were on Access at midnight on
1 a.m.
or 1 a.m. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 a.m.
on Saturday mornings, correct?
Yeah, Friday night, Saturday
Friday night,
mornings.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was on after ECW. That's all I know.
It was oh man, it was a mixture of shock and excitement.
Really?
Yeah, it definitely was. It's one hell of a feeling to work so hard for something and then it just finally happens.
Right on.
It's definitely a great feeling.
I know it was an uplifter talking with a couple of the other guys, and even some of the people behind the scenes at MPW, that they got the deal. So it had to have been an uplifter for the talent as well.
It definitely was.
All right. Current happenings. Your thoughts on Massive Damage as MPW heavyweight champion?
He's reigning quite well, I have to say.
He is. How long has he held that belt now? Since what? January of last year, correct?
Yeah, our first ever TV taping.
Right.
Yeah, so he's had it for a
So
while.
that's about 1 year and 4 months. 3 months? 4 months?
Not good at math, but
that
should be right. Should be right around there. Yeah,
All right.
he's carrying it very well.
All right. Now this will probably leave you with a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth, but Steve Rivers as a sole holding tag team champion.
I have to say, I haven't seen too many tag team champions as just one guy. So that's I don't agree in the manner he defends them, but
right.
I have to say that it's interesting to say the least.
All right, we got ourselves a caller on the line, so hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hey, man, Stoner here again. How y'all doing?
How you doing, Stoner?
Not bad. I just taking my eyes to focus here. I got a question for your guest star you got there, man.
Go ahead.
Wondering if you ever wrestled in Jello with some ladies.
Ooh.
I never quite caught all that question.
I don't know if you want to catch all that question, honestly.
PG.
Yeah, yes, let's keep this PG. We still have small children listening to this, at least. Maybe, I don't know. But,
Sorry, Stoner.
Sorry, Stoner, for sure.
All right, Dad, no problem. I'll just sit back and roll another gagger. Again, guys. Take it cool, man.
You
Nitro
too, man. Rock on.
Yes.
Right on. Rock on, boys. Rock on.
Nitroholics Anonymous does not condone the use of drug use. I'll put it that way. But if that's your vice, man, I don't care. Go for it. We are back, Nitroholics Anonymous, wrapping up our little interview session with the MPW Junior Heavyweight Champion Heavy Metal. If you got some last-minute questions, comments, whatever, give us a shout, 471-8833. The lines are open. And when I say lines, I mean line, as in one. So, anyways, you are the MPW Junior Heavyweight Champion. What do you want to accomplish as said MPW Junior Heavyweight Champion?
I'd like to hold it for as long as possible. Start defending it all over Canada. That's my goal. Start taking it places, and just start really adding more to the Monster Pro Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Right. Any territories or promotions that you haven't worked for yet that you would love to in the future?
I'd definitely like to go out east one of these days and start crossing the border, but that all comes in time. For sure.
Any chances of you wanting to work a promotion on the West Coast that you haven't worked with, something like Stampede or one of the ones like PWG down in California, something like that?
Stampede would definitely be right up there with one of the promotions I'd love to work for.
It's just got such a huge legacy with it and everything.
Just to say that you wrestled for Stampede is one honor.
All right. You guys got an upcoming card coming up Saturday, April 7th at the Kingsway. I like to call it the Sportatorium just because it looks like the old Sportatorium in Dallas, Texas, but it's actually the Kingsway Aviation Hangars, correct?
You bet. The Hangars on Kingsway.
Hangars on Kingsway. Name of the event is
Monster Pro Wrestling Regeneration.
Right on. That's cool. Any plans that they've told, or are you? First of all, you will be on the card, I imagine.
You bet.
Defending a belt against somebody we don't know yet, correct?
I will be defending the belt against the number one contender right now, Shooter Shane O'Ryan.
Wow. That's how did they let you know about this? Like the week after when you won it? Or?
There was a number one contenders match last show. It was Shane O'Ryan and Stevie Saint.
Oh, there was, exactly. Okay, that was one of the opening a couple belts of the show, I believe. It was a very good opener for the
It
show.
was. It really was.
For sure.
Both are
And
talented.
I would be remiss to say, first of all, where can we get tickets if we want for the MPW show on the 7th?
Check out monsterprowrestling.com. They have all the info. You can call the Monster Pro Wrestling line, 977-MPW1.
That's 977 MPW1, correct?
You bet.
Excellent. I would be remiss if
And you can also get them at Big Daddy's Tatties, both locations. There's one on the south side and one on the north side, which is 118th Ave, 97th Street, and any Two Guys with the Pipes
That's
locations,
right.
which the Stoner would definitely be up for going to those places.
For sure. I think he's got a lifetime membership, if you know, or a lifetime discount card.
Get some tickets there, Stoner.
Definitely, for sure. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. WrestleMania 23, Sunday, April 1st, coming up this weekend, this Sunday. I want to get your predictions on each and every announced match, if possible.
Each match.
Each match.
All right.
Can you do it?
I can do it.
All right. We're going to start with the bottom of the card. We got the United States champion, Chris the Crippler Benoit, taking on Montel Vontavious Porter, a.k.a. MVP.
I'm going to have to go for Benoit on that one.
Really?
Definitely.
You think experience is going to run out or run over top of the youth and exuberance?
You bet.
Excellent. The battle of the big man, Kane versus Great Khali.
This one should be interesting, but
Indeed.
I'm going to have to go with the Great Khali.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to have to go with the Great Khali.
Oh,
The man is a force to be reckoned
that's an
with.
upset because I've been saying Kane when people have been asking me about this. So, they just announced this here this week that it will be a Lumberjill match for the women's championship. Pretty much what that means for all our new listeners is a Lumberjill match will be Hot Divas outside the ring and Hot Divas in the ring. We got Ashley Mazzaro versus Melina for the women's title. Who do you taking that?
I'm taking Melina for that one.
Really?
Yeah, got to take Melina.
Wow.
Yeah. Once again, experience comes into play.
All right. The show that's on before you guys all the time on one channel up if you're on Shaw Cable. The ECW original is taking on the New Breed. Who do you like?
I'm gonna have to say the ECW original's got to get something here soon, so I'm thinking they're gonna take this one.
Oh, right on. That's cool. Okay, one of the big ones everybody's been talking about. Feel free to elaborate on this if you want, why you're picking or who you're picking. The Money in the Bank ladder match. We got Randy Orton. We got Mr. Kennedy, Finlay, the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, King Booker, the newcomer CM Punk. Well, I shouldn't say newcomer, but a newcomer to the WWE ranks, and this is his first WrestleMania in a wrestling role. Last year, if you remember correctly, he was a gangster.
Yep, that he was.
Wow. You didn't see it because it's radio, but man, I just rolled my eyes when I said that. I was like, wow. But and Edge, a former winner of the Money in the Bank. Who do you take? Heavy metal.
I've been pulling for Edge ever since he's been in the match.
Really?
You bet.
Right on.
He's never ever lost WrestleMania, and Money in the Bank ladder match. That's his match.
Yeah, it is. He won it back at WrestleMania 21, correct?
You bet.
That is right.
The first ever Money in the Bank.
All right. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship.
That's a tough one, but I'm going to have to go for HBK on that one.
You're with me. Yeah, I can't stand to see Cena. I'm sorry to all the Cena fans out there. If you are,
I
you're
don't
probably...
think there's many.
You know what? If you are, you're probably not legal age to drink. That's what I've seen. So.
If you are, there's something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And then one of the big ones everybody's been talking about in the triple main event that was the first one, the Cena-Michaels match. But Batista versus the Undertaker for the World Heavyweight title. Who do you like?
This one's tough. They can go either way in my eyes. He's right up there, man. But I'm just gonna have to go with the Undertaker. Experience factor, never lost to WrestleMania. That's definitely up there. He's gonna take it.
All right, and the big one, the Battle of the Billionaires. Bobby Lashley representing Donald Trump, and Umaga representing Mr. McMahon. Who's going to win? Who's going to get their head shaved? And do you care?
No, I don't. But I'd be surprised if Trump got his head shaved, so I'm going to have to go with Trump on this one. He's going to win it.
So you're going to say Trump and Lashley.
Yeah, you bet.
You see, I was surprised here that they didn't make this a title versus title match because both of them are champions.
They are.
Lashley and Umaga. And I could see Umaga making a switch over to the ECW brand just because they're lacking in what they have right now. So.
I agree.
Anyway, Heavy Metal, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything you would like to leave us with as it pertains to your fans and or news or whatever? Floor's yours.
Come on out April 7th, 2007. Check out Monster Pro Wrestling Regeneration. It's at the Hangars on Kingsway, 11410 Kingsway Avenue. And watch me kick the hell out of Shane O'Ryan in my first ever title defense as Monster Pro Wrestling Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Well, let me tell you, you're going to have the crowd behind you for sure.
I got to tell you, I've been pretty happy with the way it's been going lately.
That's excellent. Right on. Well, thanks again, Heavy Metal, for coming in. We will have to do this again.
You bet.
For sure. All right. We got AFI lined up. Girls Not Grey. Yes, Girls Not Grey by AFI. Heavy Metal, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.